the go live button. So we should, yep, there we go. We are all go live.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Did you put that link somewhere as well?
I put it on my Facebook page. The probably best idea would also be to send it to you too. There we
Sure.
go. So there's the link to the actual live stream whatnot. My account is now telling me that I'm live, and I love it when it does that.
That's cool.
Ate the whole. Oh my goodness, this child. He doesn't eat. He wants to eat, but he doesn't eat. So yeah, we are officially live. It is 8:01 o'clock. I am Ross. Joining me are two special guest friends, Candace and Rob, and together, despite the fact that we've never done this before, together we're attempting to drink Nova Scotia dry because we all met. I mean, I met Candace a century ago, back in the 90s.
A quarter of one.
I like saying that. No, literally, the 1990s was 1,000 years ago, according to calendars. That's what I like. It was a leading one instead of a leading two. 1,000 years ago. That's how long we've known each other. But we then met again in a pub. And I can't remember, did we meet again? And that was where I met Rob. And I think we met up again in Schoolhouse. Was that one night we were down in Windsor?
Yes, I think the first time we ran into each other was at Hattie's.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but then Schoolhouse, definitely we saw each other at Schoolhouse one night. And there's
most recently Patty's again.
Yes.
Because I happened to be out at a games night and you were there because despite the fact that you're both wearing craft beer shows of two breweries that are apparently no longer functioning. Well, no, Off Track is still they're trying to sell their whatnot before the end of the month. But Bad Apple, we talk a big game about Bad Apple here because it's one of Ian and I's favorite ones that is no longer around. But oh my goodness, yeah, it's getting a bit Nova Scotian, isn't it? Where we all say the directions are go down that way, and then where the firehouse used to be. There's a lot of where that brewery used to be. Oh, remember that brewery? Oh, I loved that one before they closed.
Yeah. Well, there's one place in Burnside that we swear it's cursed. It has been 5 breweries now. 5 breweries. It was originally Maritime Beer Company. No, not that one.
Not that
Then
one?
it was
Okay. Because they keep moving too.
which is not exactly local Sleeman's. Then it was Brewdebakers, Downey's Beer Company, and now it's Upstreet.
Oh,
And it's Upstreet Barbecue Place.
That's Upstreet. Okay. Have we had an Upstreet? I'm trying to remember if we've tried an Upstreet or not yet. No. We know of it, but we haven't tried one from there just yet.
Right.
Regardless.
We tried. They're pretty good. Yeah.
So, aside from the fact that we met in a pub, your shirts, I have one of those. I have, where's mine? Oh, mine's upstairs. That's the Schoolhouse one. When you buy a 12-pack of Schoolhouse beer, they give you the little cooler.
Yeah.
I bought 12 stouts, and I doubt you did.
It's on purpose because Bad Apple was always also one of our favorites. Excellent beer, just one. And Off Track is also one of my favorites, one of our favorites. I mean, we have a beer spreadsheet we update every year on brewery, and it's got like 1 million metrics. And Off Track, since they started, have consistently been in like the top 5.
I always tell people that I started this podcast because I couldn't remember what I was drinking and what I'd tried. So the most logical thing to do is start a podcast, and then you can have all the data. And they're like, why didn't you just write something down? And I went, oh, that's a good idea. But I've got spreadsheets galore as well as to what we've drank and not drank.
Untapped is good. Rob said you can download Untapped. That's why I got Untapped, and it is a lot of liquor store.
We have this conversation every now and then. I've got the Untapped app, but my thing is I don't remember to use it. I don't remember to, and I'm sort of, I'm drinking a beer, and it feels like homework. Not everything feels like homework now that I'm adult, but
I love it. It not only charts all your beers so that when you're at the liquor store, I'm like, if I had that one, you look it up and you're like, ooh, 1 star, save your money. But also, like, it gives you badges for drinking, right? Yeah. It's like the opposite of
I know. I didn't start doing it when I started doing this podcast, and we're on, beer number 277 now. So I thought, do I go back and put them all in with my remark? So I've got my own spreadsheet. I don't need Untapped. I've got my own Untapped. But there's two other reasons that you're here. One, we met in a pub and we talked about beer the first couple of times. Two, you specifically said that you guys, IPA aficionados is there a preference towards an IPA thing?
No, sometimes we'll say hothead, but we are beer IPA aficionados. Like we've tried them all.
Okay.
We've tried them all, and so we can compare them. And we've been all around. Last year, what was it? Last May, we went to Vancouver and all around, Vancouver Island and stuff. And,
dang.
How many beers did we have? We were there 10 days.
Yeah.
Like 110 beers, new beers.
Samples, of course. Yeah.
In 10 days. Oh, yeah, samples, of course. So my phone was always dead from checking in beer. But, hazy beer. Hazes are new out there. Everything's hazy.
Oh, okay.
And if you drink too many hazy beers, you can actually get heartburn. And if you have heartburn for long enough, you can actually lose your voice completely. So when I get back
this all sounds anecdotal.
No voice at all. I actually drank myself silent, which was probably
I was gonna say I definitely go the other way. The more I drink, the louder I get, and the more talkative and everything.
But he was happy.
So IPA lovers. So we picked some IPAs for tonight. We got a couple of hazy IPAs because I don't know. We already had one, and I was curious about the other one. But the third main reason you're here is because every time we meet in the pub and start talking about beer, and I start talking about Nova Scotia craft beer, and I say I'm doing this thing, and you always say, well, did you know that we've got? Now, let me get this sentence right. The most what you feel, and there's. I know we'll confirm this eventually. What you feel is the most extensive Nova Scotia craft brewery growler collection in the province.
Yes.
Is extensive the right word?
It's extensive.
Comprehensive, perhaps.
Comprehensive.
Diverse.
There's with the exception of possibly one brewery in Sydney in like the 80s that had a growler, we have we believe all the growlers from all the breweries. And we have a personal rule that one of us has to actually go to the brewery to get the growler, right? We can't be like, hey, buddy, pick this up while you're there, so that we can rate them on our spreadsheet, right? So
it's all about the spreadsheet.
It is all about the spreadsheet and the growlers.
So my wife keeps asking me if I'm going to run out of room, because what I started doing in this whole adventure was I started collecting the pint glasses, and I go in and I usually say, what's your weirdest shaped pint glass? I want that one. I don't want them all to be the same. So I've got lots of different weird shapes and sizes, but I've got a couple of shelves over there on my bookshelf, and I've got maybe I think I'm up to 15 or so pint glasses. And she said, aren't you going to run out of room? And I said, listen, let me tell you about my friends who are collecting quite possibly the largest thing short of the full barrels of beer, or like a keg. It's the largest takeaway thing from a brewery you could collect, and that's what you decided to do.
Yeah, go big or go home, right?
Fair enough. Okay.
We don't move often, so that's a good thing. Sure. If we moved often, we might not have as many, but yeah, we look forward to showing that in a little bit. And maybe there's somebody out there that's like, no, they don't. We have a better one, and we'd love to hear it.
I was hoping. I want to stir some competition. I want someone to say, no, I've got 9 more than that, or oh, I bet you don't have one from this weird underground speakeasy, Ralph's Half Brewery and some basement in Truro. Man, now I want to go to Ralph's Half Brewery in some basement in Truro. Yes, I know. We got to get to the beer. Okay, this is Ian and I's problem. We will talk forever. Then we're like, oh, right, it's a beer show. We should probably drink some of this. So first up, the lower alcohol percentage of the 2 hazy IPAs that we've chosen. Both of these, this is a fun little new thing, is that they're actually both available right now in the LC, because I checked. The recent ones, we hold on to them for too long sometimes, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, you should get this beer, but you can't. It's sold out, and you can't get it anymore. But these two you can.
Yep.
So this one is called the Next Phase. Phase with a Z Hazy IPA. It is 6.4%. It is from Tusket Falls Beer Project. I've never really looked at that. I usually write down things like brewing company, but Beer Project is amazing. I love that. They are down just outside of Yarmouth in a little village called Tusket. And I've been there. In fact, yeah, this picture is of the Tusket in behind me here. Because
that's right. I knew I recognized that. We it was so busy the day we were there.
that happens.
We had to like stand on the stairs. Remember that? The place was bumping.
Oh man. Well, we went I was there on a quiet afternoon.
Yeah.
So it wasn't quite so bad. However, there isn't a lot written on the can. I believe all it says here is was it on the front? Yeah. Mosaic Cryo Rawaha and Phantasm. But so I think those are the hops that they used.
Citra is definitely one of the hops, yeah.
But over here on the internet, it says Next Phase, and it has 3 descriptor words for it. The descripting words are, and I quote, dank, bright, thiolic, thiolic.
I'm about to learn what thiolic is.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they have invented 2 words and then just called it bright, which is not a descriptor of a beer. So this is actually making me a little nervous. However, it does continue. Brewed with legendary Rawaka that's enhanced by New Zealand Phantasm for unreal thiolic flavor. Smooth as silk while packing explosive tropical notes, each sip pushes guava, grapefruit, and passion fruit, a strategic next phase. All right. Now, the only thing I know about a hazy IPA... Oh, my... Whew, okay. Hello.
Yeah.
About a hazy IPA is that you're basically just guaranteed for it not to be clear. Right?
Yeah. You shouldn't be able to see through it, no. It's like almost like a breakfast morning orange juice beer.
Now, speaking of that, we also have a can upstairs. My wife enjoys sour beers.
Oh.
We didn't have this conversation before we were married, so I couldn't do anything about it afterwards. But she comes on the show and we drink sour beers because Ian and I were like, "What is this?" But technically, they are brewed as beers, so we have to review it. We have to be objective and drink it all. And I've found a couple that weren't the worst, but all of her favorite sours are my least favorite beers. But we found one, Two Crows, who do a lot of specialty sours. They do some really interesting stuff down there, and they've got one called, and it's apparently a follow-up to one they've done in previous years called the Squeezy. And now there's the Squeezy 2. Squeezy because it's supposed to be like a smoothie, effectively. It is a smoothie sour beer. And you want to talk chunky? It actually pours out of the can like a fruit smoothie. There's rinds, there's blueberry bits. It is so thick, and it's the strangest, most delicious, somehow a beer, but I do not believe them kind of thing.
Okay.
I wish I could get this in there. It's a little hazy. It's hazy-esque.
Ours is it's very hazy.
See, my problem is I used my Tusket Falls glass, and I think it's only a 16 ouncer.
Oh yeah, Rob's got a 16. I got a 20. Again, off track.
Yeah.
Want to represent.
I've got my off track pint glass over there. I managed to talk them into giving me one. Well, selling me one.
Oh, that's good.
Because he was saying, "Oh no, we're gonna sell these at the end of the month," and I'm like, "What if I don't come to Bedford all that often? Can I please?"
Live them somewhere in the world.
Is it?
Those are definitely looking a bit more like orange juice. Those are looking like some of the orange sours that we've had previously. So
it's definitely a hazy beer. So it definitely gets points for the haze.
While I'm waiting for the head to go down a little bit, thiolic. In organic chemistry, oh good, this is going to be a real smart episode. In organic chemistry, a thiol or thiol derivative is any organosulfur compound of the form R-SH, where R represents an alkyl or other. That does not help me at all. Ecotarian. What? Thiolic acid, yeast, and thiolic varieties? Thiolic compounds that. Best one. Thiolic. Of or pertaining to a thiol.
Oh, that makes sense.
That answers that. That's, yeah.
That sounds like a great Scrabble word. With a
Containing
Y.
sulfur and a hydrogen atom, a compound containing such a radical. So should this taste like sulfur and hydrogen? Is this what they're advertising?
I'm a little scared now.
What? Thiol. Okay, I'm gonna cheat. Thiolic beer. Are thiols a scam? That is the top. top.
We've been had.
Oh dear. Are thiols worth the hype? A tiny amount of thiols can elevate a beer with vibrant passion fruit and grapefruit notes that enhance traditional hop aromatics. Thiolized beer. When we build that are thiols a scam after 2 years and 25 batches. So it might be the secret ingredient that might not actually do much. Oh my god. Okay. I keep pouring it to try to get in there.
A non-thiolic beer to compare.
Okay. I think we're ready to go. I think we definitely need to try this. So good luck with thiolic beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Very fruity.
Very fruity and smooth. Yeah, it's easy on the palate. Not too boozy.
No, it's not. It's really smooth, actually.
Nice.
It's very smooth, definitely. And I'm wondering if, okay, here we go. I'm getting all the color and the thickness down at the bottom. I think mine's settled. I gotta wait for it to stir a bit because mine tasted a little, I don't want to say empty, but just there was a little, I could tell where the flavor was going to be, but it wasn't coming through. So mine might have sat for a little too long, but now it's the good stuff. Oh yeah, we got the sea monkeys down at the bottom. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's with the good stuff. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're boozing. But I was getting more of a bitter flavor than a fruit flavor out of mine. So I think that's where maybe I wasn't getting all the good stuff down at the bottom.
Yeah, right.
Do I need a stir stick? I don't really know how to make sure that I get everything out other than, and this was a problem. I would only buy a pint glass from a brewery if they had a 20. And a lot of them, they do not. So if you've got a 20, I am buying your 20-ounce glass. But some of them are just, oh no, the biggest one we've got is a 16-ounce, and I'm there. And I'm like, well, I'm never coming back to Guysborough again, so fine, give me your 16-ounce glass,
Right.
Yeah.
Does this taste different than another IPA? Are thiols a scam? I think we need to answer this tonight for sure.
Well, we need a non-thiol beer or thiolic beer to test it. And
the other one.
But I will say it is not quite as dank as I expected, considering dank was one of the top 3.
It looks more dank than
it looks more dank for sure.
It does. It looks, and maybe that's what a hazy can get away with that. A hazy IPA, where if you have just, here is your IPA, by the way, it's going to be fruity, and it comes out looking like this, you know there's going to be flavor in that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's oh, this is a hazy IPA, does that mean you can get away with having weak sauce flavor? Because I would like a bit more punch. I want to taste this citrus, this grapefruit, this.
Quite mellow on the front end.
It is. It's really surprising, actually. And the smell is very overpoweringly citrus.
It is, yeah.
I expected it to be a little bit, I don't know.
We go through this a lot where we say, I wish this tasted more like how it smelled.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially at 6.4, you kind of expect a little more to it. But no, it's quite crushable, I guess you could call it.
It is. It's sessionable and crushable, but I wasn't expecting that for a hazy 6.4 IPA. Yeah. So for that, well done. But I don't know if that was the point, to make a crushable, sessionable one. It doesn't taste boozy. It's still very smooth, but yeah, I think I just like a tad more flavor.
more flavor. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's quite mellow.
Okay, are you going to pick up? We're sort of in between. If you want to pick up the camera, or I don't know if you're just going to tilt it towards the collection, or is it contained in one room, or is it like a NASA computer in the '60s where it's?
No, it's right
Kind of
here.
both.
Well, it's on 2 large shelves, and then also the floor because
Yeah,
there's just so
we
many.
run out of shelf space.
But I will take the. Do you want to just see, or do you want to go through it? Do you want to go through? We could go through half of them. They're in rough chronological order for when the breweries.
Oh, autobiographical order, the only way to
Yeah.
do it. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start at the back.
However you want to
see
do. If
that?
you want to do a quick glance, or if you want to tell me the story of everything.
Here's a quick glance. I don't know if you can see all of them there.
Let's see. Roof Hound. Was that? I think I saw Tusket Falls. There's Off Track. There's Heritage, Saltbox, Route 19.
Yeah.
I think I
These
saw
are
an
the
Old Biddy's
4,
face.
but-
Oh, yeah, there we
and
go.
then-
Oh, you've been to Half Cocked. I haven't been to Half Cocked yet.
Yeah, he wasn't even open. I messaged you over here. I'm actually gonna see if I can turn this camera around. Maybe.
Getting there.
Oh, there. So now we're cooking with oil.
Rogue's
All right,
Boost.
so from the top shelf, which is the oldest breweries in the province.
Yeah.
Maritime Beer
There it is.
Company. We mulled to go over getting the Keats one for a long time, and then we gave in and got one. Granite. Remember Granite Brewery? They were in Halifax.
I do.
Roost.
I remember Rogue's Roost. That was a great place to go and shoot pool.
Yeah. And then we got Garrison and Propeller, who are the only two, besides Keats, on the top shelf who are still around in here anyway. Granite brews out of
They're in Toronto now.
Toronto. Yeah. So that's the old one. And then we have Rudders and Patties.
Now, Patty's is going to be upset to not be on that top shelf because they claim to have been brewing beer longer than Propeller has.
Since the 90s, yeah. So, yeah, it's a good point. It's a great point. Propeller is pretty old too, though. Propeller and Garrison. I don't know the exact year.
They fight over 96, 97, I feel like, but maybe I got to look all this stuff up.
Pretty
Oh,
sure
Uncle
Pat
Leo's.
94 in Kentville.
It's trivia question.
Yeah. They're still around. Uncle Leo's unfortunately has gone, and Big Spruce old as well. Oh, and do you want a quick trivia?
Yes.
One brewery in the province has a clear growler.
Oh.
Can you guess what it is?
Um,
And they're still around, I think.
I'm trying to think of if there's a brewery with the word clear or see-through or sky or something in their name, and I can't think of one.
Absolutely no logic to it whatsoever.
There's no logic to it whatsoever. Okay, it's probably, I don't know.
No.
Sober Island. Rare Bird, speaking of Guysboro.
At a Guysboro. Yeah, Sober Island doesn't do growlers. We've been there a couple times, and
Yeah.
So-
there is a caveat. We don't have every brewery because there are some breweries that don't have growlers. Church Brewery, for example.
yeah, which is really unfortunate.
Well,
Rock Bottom,
they came in late.
Gahan,
Gahan,
Boxing
Boxing.
Rock. Those are all there, which is great. Gahan. Gahan's, PEI, but they're here too.
Oh, we had a big conversation about that as well because they now brew inside of Nova Scotia, so they can be considered a Nova Scotia, even though they started in PEI. They're technically we categorize.
Then you've got Breton and Spindrift down east back there. They're gone
down
now.
east, yeah.
Bad Apple, 9 Locks,
I
Unfiltered.
think we've had a couple of Unfiltered. I hear great things.
Oh my God, Unfiltered's awesome. Way up here, we got Nook and Cranny in Truro, who are pretty great. Good Robot, Wayfarers in the back, Roofhound Triders behind there, who are also going. And then North, I've got a good story about North here. We'll show you in a minute. Lund's Mill, Chill Street, Tusket Falls, which we're drinking right
You've
now.
got Backstage, and I don't know anyone else who's been to Backstage. I love their stuff. They're honestly, Backstage Brewing's IPA is one of my favorites in the province.
And then We got Salty Dog, and this one unfortunately also gone. Old Biddy's there. In
Well,
fact,
it's just rebranded.
oh yeah, that's Brightwood, who I just heard is also closing.
They are, yep.
With that, Off Track, New Scotland, Two Crows. Ooh, this is waving. Tide House. Remember Tide House? Itty bitty, tiniest place in Halifax. It was like,
I do
what?
not remember Tide House. No.
Yeah.
There's Route 19.
Route 19.
What is that?
Who are
That's a
going to phase
Firkenstein?
in Bridgewater. Now they have an excellent black IPA. Truly delicious. Truly.
Why have I not been there?
I don't know. There's nothing else to do in Bridgewater.
There's not. Well, I'm there all the time because my daughter plays sports. Bent Nail. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I walked in there because I was looking for cans, and I couldn't walk out with cans to try of their fares.
That's awesome.
Well, I tried a flight of their offerings, and I was not impressed.
Right. Yeah, that was us too. I think we actually got that growler empty, which we don't do.
Yeah, I didn't find anything that I thought was amazing.
A little weird, but they do brew beer. Your father's mustache. They brew downstairs.
Do they?
They have growlers, so we got a growler. And Two Islands in Parsboro.
Been there. I love it there. King Street. Now, King Street, is King Street not a part of the Salt Box and Lighthouse?
It is. They're the same one. The logo's exactly the same, basically.
Yeah. When I was getting a pint glass, I got one with all 3 logos on it. Oh, 902. I haven't had any of theirs yet.
They're pretty. They have a really awesome venue. It's totally remote, but it's beautiful up there. Really nice. Highly recommend. Harbor Brewing. They're just closing now as well.
That was the other one in Muscadaba.
Smokehouse.
Yep.
And then
I love all the smokehouse stuff that I've had. I'm impressed that you got into the harbor because there's a number of them. They opened and closed just as fast. I couldn't get there.
We always get there like in the first couple weeks, just to
in case they close down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got the last row, which is on the floor, unfortunately, for these guys.
Yeah. I love Hilltop. Hilltop's great.
Which is awesome. Breath Air Brewing.
Where?
I think they're in Sackville, maybe.
I haven't heard of that one.
Up Street. We do have a little time. Topside.
I've heard of Topside, but I haven't been in.
Serpent, who also just closed.
Yes, and I didn't get a glass from them, sadly.
Yeah, they specialize in Belgians, and that's not really our thing. So
it's very weedy on there.
Super weedy. Shipwright in Lunenburg.
Shipwright. I've tried going to Shipwright, and they're the ones that it's just an outdoor venue, so you can't.
No, that's this one. That's Light Ship.
Oh, that's Light Ship.
Yeah, this Shipwright. And it's right on, I don't know, one of the old streets. It's like the street that everything else is.
Okay.
It's a nice little spot. This is our closest brewery here, Horton Ridge.
Heck yeah.
And then we have Lazy Bear.
I was gonna ask if you got to Lazy Bear. I've got a glass from them. That's a cute little spot.
It is a cute little spot.
And you got Meander River. Yep. Really small scale stuff.
Yeah, and then this one is, I think, definitely my favorite growler. Are you familiar with that?
Bridge Brewing Company. I am not.
That was North Brewing Company for their first, 3 weeks or something like that, before they got a cease and desist from another Bridge Brewing Company in the States. And then they had to brand and everything. So they sold off what they had and then rebranded North pretty quickly. And then it was hard to get it. So we hadn't gotten one of those growlers. We looked everywhere. I responded to Kijiji ads and everything. Please give me a growler. And we ended up getting one at Battery Park. One of the waitresses there.
That makes sense. I've spent some time at Battery Park many years ago. Well, wearing the Bad Apple Brewhouse t-shirt, did you know about the Bad Apple issue with naming as well? Because Bad Apple Brewery or Bad Apple Brewing Company was taken somewhere down south, so they had to be Bad Apple Brew House. No, wait.
Yeah.
so they had to take that as opposed to being something else. Now this next one that we're looking at, Burnside, I forget if they changed from Spindrift for the same reason or not. Was Spindrift something else?
I'm fairly certain it was a cease and desist.
Are you finished your first one already, Ross?
Nope.
Okay.
I was bringing up the next one because it was a part of the conversation. Not to worry. We're not firing through on quite that fast.
Oh yeah, so
I feel like you don't have too many more growlers than I've got pint glasses, so I'm actually feeling a little bit slightly legitimized, A, in the size of my collection, and B, in the scope of it as well. But the same thing with the pint glasses. I think only one have I got, because every now and then you can go into Value Village and they've got pint glasses from all over the place, and well, not all over the place, but they've got all of the what have they got? You go in there and there's Al and Denise's wedding 2022. I'm like, okay, I'm not collecting you. But I did find there was a number of Breton glasses that were in there, Breton Brewing. And I did buy one mostly because I've been there and I didn't get one while I was there. So I'm like, that counts, right? I can just get one a little bit closer to home. I don't have to go all the way back out to Breton Brewing. But for the most part, I go in and I try to get one from the actual establishments. I've got one from Candid out in Antigonish. They've got some good stuff. Truro Brewing Company. That's slightly close. So I've got a really nice one from them. I was gonna point out Lazy Bear if you didn't have that. Annapolis Brewing Company. I've got one of theirs. But it's
now brews
they actually
Bad Apple. They brew
they brew box cutter IPA.
Do you want the inside scoop since you're wearing the shirt as well?
I love the inside scoop.
Well, the inside scoop is Jeff, the owner and head brewer of Bad Apple. His daughter was the maid of honor at my wedding. So my wife is besties with Jeff's daughter, and that's my slight in there. So she keeps telling me these stories. And she says, listen, I should, I'm not sure if I should tell you this or not, so I never know what I'm supposed to say, but box cutter is not the only recipe they got.
Okay, right.
They got them all.
I heard they also got Mosaic. I can't remember from who, but
Mosaic is the next one they were planning to release, and I think they were hoping to release it most recently for World Autism Day, which was as short as just 1 week ago. But I don't think they got it. Either they didn't get it done in time, or it wasn't quite ready to go. Something happened. But as far as I know, post box cutter, the Mosaic Double IPA is the next one that they're going to bring out based on the Bad Apple recipes that they bought. So we're all sitting around going, the Stearman APA, the greatest one, the Black and Tackle Russian Imperial Stout is still sits as our favorite beer of all time.
Yeah. No, Jeff is a brilliant brewer, right? I mean, he learned under Greg Nash there from Unfiltered, where all of the great brewers come from. Honestly, all of them.
When we talk to a lot of the local brewers, they all say things like, "Yeah, because we started. It was this club called the Blue Nosers," and they list off 7 to 10, probably more, of the breweries that started in this province were all from these guys, and they all went to this club. And they said, yeah, and we learned from Jeff, and we learned from so. I'm like, wait, Jeff who? Jeff Saunders? Oh, okay, yeah. And he's telling me about that. This was when I was talking to Keith, who was the previous head brewer down at Old Biddy's.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was so happy to talk to Keith because that guy is a genius. His stuff is so good. So yeah. I'm happy that they're keeping the recipes there. I'd love to talk to him some more about what he's doing next. But the other side of things, when Jeff was still brewing Bad Apple out in Somerset, Pete Adams was his kind of apprentice, and Pete Adams went on. Pete Adams, and he happened to be a friend of mine before getting into this whole beer thing because he's also an accomplished musician and Valley rapper. So. Take that as you will. Really great guy. Really great guy. If you ever see Pete Adams on some sort of bill somewhere, yes, go watch the show. But having studied under Jeff, when Bad Apple went under, he moved and he became the head brewer at Wayfarers for a short period of time, a couple of years, I think. And he was given all of the recipes, but he started looking into making some of his own, and I was fortunate enough to go in one night and talk to him, and he said, "Yeah, try this. It's an orange wheat beer that I'm working on," and for a little keg just sitting in the corner of a room, it was absolutely delicious. So, but he's moved on. I don't think he's working with Wayfarers anymore right now. They've got a new brewer in there. It's oh my god, it's like watching soap operas, trying to keep track of everything and know what's going on.
It's an ever-changing industry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So this is one that Ian came up with, is especially if you're trying to compare them at the end of the night, you leave like a little a finger or two at the bottom of your glass, so that when you have the second one, you can say, now how does this compare to the first one? And you take that last little sip of the first one. Sometimes the first one is so good that we can't stop ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't have another glass up here, so I'm going to finish mine.
Oh, snip. Oh, same glass. Oh, yeah. Maybe I should have warned you about a couple of these. Little bits and
I have
pieces.
water to rinse it out with and just down that, so.
That'll work. Again,
We're
I'm coming back to this one being a little low on flavor that I was looking for.
Yeah, even after drinking most of it here, it's still just a little weak.
I would have to agree, Ross. Yeah, it's the flavor's just not quite there. It's nice and smooth and easy drinking, but it just doesn't have that citrus bang that you'd expect.
Yeah. So by that logic, what I usually do then is I try to rate it out of 10, and I just pick an arbitrary number that I think is about right. So in my mind, is it a 7? Yeah, it's a high 7. All right, 7.7, 8. Yeah, I'll keep going. And I think I get as high as 8.1 and say, is it an 8.1 out of 10?
Leave some room for improvement.
It's got some room for it. So I think I won't go higher than 7.9. I think it's, there's a lot going on there. It's quite good, but more. I want more. Definitely want more.
I think my final answer for it is 7.3. I think it's 7.3. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to whole numbers and give it a 7, but yeah, it's, yeah, I'm right there as well.
Ian accuses me of being generous. So he will say, "Oh, I love that beer. It's amazing. 7.8." And I will say, "I didn't like that one very much. 7.8." And we'll give it the exact same number, but we'll both have completely differing opinions on it.
Right. I don't think Candace has ever rated a beer on Untapped below 2.5. So 2.5 is 0, I guess.
I don't want to insult them.
Well, because it's out of 5, right? It's out of 5. So
my
my thing is at the halfway point, that is drinkable. Anything below a half score, a 50% score, is I couldn't even finish this. It was too gross. And my favorite part about drinking Nova Scotia craft brewery beer is I think that's happened twice, where we rated something below a 5 because we said, "Oh no, something's wrong. This is just no, this is just not right." Which is out of nearly 300 beers, that's pretty good that everyone's making deliciously flavorsome stuff.
I had a beer from Good Robot at a Cask Beer Festival one time, and it physically hurt. I was like, "What is the matter?"
It was like clove and coriander and cinnamon, and
it was painful.
Yeah,
Actually,
What's the legendary one is from Bad Apple, I think. My friend said they were out there one day and he'd made one and it was a one-off shot, and I think they called it a lime cucumber lager of some kind, and they said it was easily the most disgusting fluid I've ever tried to put in my own body. I said, lime cucumber, I mean, yeah, okay, that I'd try it, because why not? You're in Patty's one night and they said, "Hey, we're trying something new. Try this. It's a coconut stout." And I went, "Sure. Sure. I'll give it a whirl." And you know what? It was a coconut stout. It tasted like coconut. It was a stout beer. I drank half of it and I said, "That's all. That's as much as I can withstand, but well done. You did it."
Right.
Happy for you.
You're replicating what we're going for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This one's getting geographical. All right, so moving on, vaguely and hazily a little bit, is Burnside Brewing, which I'm going to constantly mess up with Breton because they just got the big B there. Burnside Brewing Company, previously Spindrift, but as we talked about, yeah, lawsuits were over at Burnside Brewing. They changed location and everything too. I don't know if that was part of the cease and desist. Well, their main location is in Burnside, but I think they moved shop fronts at one point.
Well, that's a good idea because there is nobody in Burnside. My office used to be just around the corner from here, and people don't go at lunch. They're not even open at lunch. So, I mean, why would people go there?
There's pubs. Isn't there Pilots or Peddlers or something down the street? Like, honestly, the industrial parks is a sleeper hit. Triders is in an industrial park. A number of these are in industrial parks. Where the heck were we the other day? We stopped by Off Track. Was it Off Track? Off Track feels like it's in an industrial park, but it's just kind of up the hill a ways.
A little bit. And it's in a strip mall. So
anywho, not to crap on their location, but this one is a 6 point. God, it's such small lettering. 6.7 liters. I love, and the Sea Glass Northeast IPA. Which is different from an NE IPA because a NEPA does not stand for Northeast. And I learned this. This is a thing that I now know because NE is New England IPA.
Yeah, that's right. I love New England IPAs.
That's what got me sold on trying more IPAs. Because I said, oh, I guess I got to try this. And I tried one and I went, oh, hello. What's different about this? But there's also a bit of here's a West Coast IPA, here's an East Coast IPA, and I haven't. You're probably the experts on this one, where I don't quite know exactly what I'm getting myself in for when someone starts telling me the geographical location of my IPA here.
Yeah, we can tell the difference.
I generally associate New England with like a hazy, sort of what we had with that first one with Next Phase, but I don't know if that's exclusively.
It's true.
Yeah,
New England's are citrusy, hazy, maybe not as hazy as this, but a little bit hazy, and I was dank. But West Coast are clear. They are more orangey in color. They are more piney and crisp flavor than New England's. Like New England's are citrusy, they're yellow, sometimes they're hazy, they have a big head. But the West Coast, not a big head, orange, kind of like Vice Principal.
Yep.
My favorite. It's that color-ish, and
more transparent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And piney. It's got the piney flavor.
Well, it does say Northeast IPA, but the first letter in the description on the back of the can, this beautiful blue can. Oh, right, the art. I want to talk about the art on the Sea Glass IPA. Just the rivers that are rolling through there, and there's a lighthouse, and then the clock tower there. It's all very Halifaxy, but man, I just feel like I'm playing Animal Crossing on that one. I just love the grid-locked housing estates and this beautiful blue theme where everything is just a little bit of a different shade of like a sky blue. But the descriptor on here, aside from 30 IBU, which is not a huge amount. That's pretty low. Hazy with a soft, pillowy mouthfeel. We're using words today. Pillowy. Sea Glass is a massively dry-hopped Northeast IPA bursting with juicy tropical hop character with minimal bitterness. This one is an absolute treasure. Okay.
I like that do they have their IBUs on the can?
They're what?
Did you read the IBUs from the can?
No, it's on the website.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wish that they would put it on the can. Honestly, for me, it is more important what the IBUs are than the ABV.
A lot of cans give you all the information and then some, but some of them are just kind of, here, you just get this tiny whisper of 473 milliliters, and that's all you get. Try the beer. It's beer. And then they invent a lot of words.
Yeah, because it's subjective kind of, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not subjective. It is sort of ranked, but I mean, if you had a brew that you brewed 2 or 3 different times and maybe got slightly different results each time, but you've ordered 1,000 cans, you can't just go and change the IBU label on the can. So maybe they just leave it
There
off
is
there.
that, and there are changes, and that's happened to us sometimes where the website would say it's a 6.2, and the can says it's a 6.3.
Right.
Just batch wise, year to year, and this changes, and so it forces you to be forgiving of everybody because it's small batch craft beer. This is how it's all going to work out.
What it's all about. Right?
Yeah.
Now,
No, I got-
I'm also cheating a little bit because I don't have a Burnside glass, but I do have my Toller glass, my one of two. But I like having the thematic ones. Come on, get the head down there so I can get the rest of this in ye old can. I'm trying to recognize any of the other houses on here. I don't think I do.
Pretty citrusy. Not quite as citrusy as the first one.
I was about to mention that where the citrus smell, the smell of it is less strong, which is curious because the flavor of the other one wasn't strong at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's called a Northeast IPA. I don't think I've ever heard of a Northeast IPA. I don't.
Is it calling it a New England IPA or is it trying to invent something brand new?
Yeah, like maybe they just got it wrong. It's New England. Maybe. Now, I was for beer types. You know how wine has quite a way. Nova Scotia or Marytown or something should come up with their own beer type. I love Vice Principal, and that's a Maritime IPA, so they should run with that.
Okay, well, yeah, we could get there, and I feel like we almost deserve to at this point. Sad that it won't be my favorite type, but we definitely need something to put us on the map because it's delicious stuff they're making.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And we're really coming out. I did get it all in there, and can I say this is a little less colorful.
Right.
It is. Well, it's. Oh, I find it more colorful, but less dense. Or like thick, you know what I mean? Like the other one was.
It was like a juice. It was thick like a juice. This one is. I mean, it's hazy. In fact, it's probably more hazy than thick. Is that what the dank means?
No, dank is like it's an aftertaste almost when you take a sip, and it's like it's like it got under every single taste bud in your mouth, and it's thick and funky.
Lingers, yeah, it's
like a funky flavor.
Okay.
Yeah. And hey, dank is like hazies are dank usually, but I don't know. Cheers, friends.
Cheers. Let's get this one in.
All right.
Get her in there. Oh, it's delicious.
That's a good brew. I like that.
Oh, it's delicious. It's crisp and hoppy and clean. It has a real clean, sharp, awesome finish. It
it almost tastes like a West Coast.
It's beautiful. The laces are thin, which isn't bad. I mean, some people are like, oh, the laces need to be like really heavy, and I'm not drinking a Guinness. I don't need to be that heavy, but yeah.
Okay.
You judge a beer by its laces?
All the stuff that you've mentioned, the hop, the bitter at the end, the crisp sort of. There's the sharp at the front, sharp at the end. All of that is stuff I hate about IPAs. So, but again, on this show, when we do this, we do try to be as objective as possible. So when we do drink IPAs, Ian and I will drink them saying, oh, I hate that. Oh, it's awful. IPA lovers will love it though. So that is, it's a top tier. This is, I can see how this is a 9 out of 10 IPA, but for me personally, nope. For malt and stout lovers, stay away. Honestly, the Tusket Falls one was more akin to here you are, sir. Are you sick of those overly bittered IPAs? Have a tall glass of orange juice and just go sit in the corner for a minute, and we'll find you something in the kitchen.
That's hilarious. Well, cheers to you for picking IPAs because we like them.
There's so many of them. We got to get through them. It's the same thing. There's sours on the shelf, and we did the science. We looked it up, and we said, all right, you're brewing it correctly. It's not like we're trying to review a seltzer or a cider, because that's a different process and whatnot. But apparently, sours are brewed like a beer, so they count. I don't know what crazy criminal, insane escape artist came up with the concept of, yes, this beer should taste like fruit gone bad, but hey, someone did.
See, now sours have two different ways that they can be made, right? There's lactose sour where they add lactose to it, like the milkshake anything, which not a fan. I just can't. It's like eating tapioca. I can't even. And then there's kettle sours, which are like the more natural souring method for the beer, and those I stand a chance with. Like, okay. I'm sure if your wife is a fan of sours, I bet you she's had Silver Tart by Big Spruce.
That's another one.
Guaranteed. And if she hasn't, make it happen. It's unbelievable.
But again, these are the ones that you have to order in. But going all the way back to my Acadia days, guess who else I met at Acadia? A young man at the time, as we all, we were all quite young at the time, but he is now obviously a grown up, because he is the press adjunct of Big Spruce. His name is Stephen Heisler. We've had him on the show. He used to be on my improv team.
Amazing.
And now he's like the representative for Big Spruce Brewing. And he brought us some delightful deliveries, but no, the sour was not one of them. So I'll have to see if I can get my hands on something like that. The rule is, my wife likes to go for nice long drives, and we go on long drives. I like to look for breweries. The rule is, if I go in, I have to look for a sour, and then I have to bring a sour home. There's a couple that I brought home. There was one of Candid Brewery. That was what was that? It was the pear. No, lime and ginger sour.
Oh, that's an excellent combination.
It was really good. I liked it. The best sours I've had have so far been they have a yearly flavor at Breton Brewing of Let's Jam, and a few years ago they had one. It was a pomegranate. Lemon? Pomegranate something. No, pomegranate blueberry, something like that. It was amazing. It was so good.
Because the Let's Jam can was blue. And it had it was blueberry.
But I appreciate that. I said, we've got a new recipe. We're trying something a little bit different this year. Booyah, here you go. Whereas
the Sac Vegas sour as well from Old Biddy, the raspberry one. So good. I don't know.
How have we not tried that? We've been into Old Betty's, now Great Roads, but we've been in there a number of times, and they never seem to be on when I'm going. So here's the problem. My wife likes sours, and they're often on tap, but not in the can, so you can't take them away. I like the stronger, more interesting ones, so I go in and they say, oh yeah, we've got a brown ale, or we've got a bock on tap, but we haven't canned it yet.
Yeah.
What's in cans? Let me go down your list. Yep. Hefeweizen, wheat beer, IPA. I'm out of here.
Do you ever take like a little grunter or something with you?
Only when if we're talking to the brewer and they say we really want to talk about this one and it's not in a can, then I will take a little grunter home of it. Because
take one with you so that you don't have to canning it.
This is $4.73, and if I buy two of these, then I get one for me and I give one to Ian. We split them all up, and then we can be at our own locations to do that. If I get a little grunter, then that's it's like twice as much as this. And unless we're in the same location together, which doesn't happen, it happens every now and then, but then I've got 8 billion grunters, and honestly, the closet's full of past used, long gone growlers, grunters. I didn't even check what you may or may not have, because I threw it completely out of my mind as soon as you said we have to go to the location, we have to have the link up to it in order for it to count. I said, fine, you don't get my little collection, and that's cool. And
We appreciate that, though. Thank you for the offer, but we have standards.
I'll look in there, and in fact, the ones that I'm kind of proud of and happy about are ones that I brought back home with me from far-tossed exotic locations such as St. John, New Brunswick, where I've got a big Tide growler in there.
I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but this is this is a big spruce grunter. It was limited edition for Lewisburg, the 300th anniversary birthday of Lewisburg.
Is there literally a store somewhere that says, come on in to Al's beer supplies and medical supplies store? Because that looks like it should just house 2 liters of hydrogen peroxide is what you've got there.
Cape Breton medicine for sure. As a paper, like big spruce. If I lived where I grew up, I graduated from Benek kind of thing, right? So, and there was no breweries down there when I was there. So it's definitely a caper medicine, 100%. But we've got a lot of weird, like we've collected just so many other weird grunters and growlers and stuff too that's not our full collection.
I didn't figure. No, you're gonna have the doubles and the triples. Like I've got about, I think I have 12 or so Patty's ones in there somewhere. They're all in the closet. I don't worry about it. I should take some sort of inventory. Ooh, I'll put it in my spreadsheet. You do have an Indianapolis Brewing Company. There you go.
Yeah, but don't we have? No, see, we have a 2-liter one, and now we also have this one. So this one's on the floor and the stairs.
Sorry, I didn't notice the 2-liter one.
2-liter one on the shelf. This is when we went and we're like, there's beer there that we want, and we forgot our growler because we do not take any of our growlers out of the house ever, right?
But you've got. This is the question. You've got the spreadsheet.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, so send me a picture of the spreadsheet of them, and we'll include that in some sort of post somewhere, because that's important. I feel that's very important.
Sure can, absolutely, and we are definitely open to anybody saying, "No, you're missing this one. You're missing this one," because we don't know what we don't know, but as far as we know, we have all of them.
The guesstimate that I've got, and I go by there's a list on the side of the Atlantic Canada Beer Blog website that I look at, and I think the rough guesstimate right now is approximately 70.
Right. Okay.
There are 70 breweries in Nova Scotia.
Because I think we have 66 on the shelf, and there are a few breweries that don't do growlers, like Church, for example, and Townhouse Brewery.
Townhouse.
So 70. That's a reasonable number.
And the best part is you're also collecting the antiques. You're collecting the ones that don't sell. They don't exist. The company's gone.
We've been actively just because we also like to go for drives. So we just would go for a drive to a brewery, grab a growler and then come home. We've been doing that actively since 2011. So since 2011, nothing has opened that we didn't get there to get one. So if they had a growler, then we got a growler. That said, since Old Biddy changed the name to Great Roads, if they have a growler, we don't have that one yet.
Burnside
and we've been trying to, we've tried to go the other day and they were closed. So, places that have odd hours are also really difficult to get to.
I don't have the Great Roads glass, and I don't have a Burnside Brewing glass, so it's slowly there. Did I see 9 Locks in there?
Oh, yeah, 9 Locks is there.
Oh, man, I feel like I glazed over. I think I tuned out here.
Yeah, well, this will be recorded, so you'll be able to go through and see them.
It's true.
And we sometimes just trivia each other on things like which one is the only growler to have the handle on the left? And odd random things are like, name 3 breweries that have a colored logo on their growler instead of just white, right?
Man.
There's fun questions that you can come up with when you have a growler collection like this. It's really exciting.
It is true. I'm looking at, because I also have within my spreadsheet, I've got the number of breweries in the province and the number of beers that we've tried from there, and there's a few of them that we haven't even been to just yet, because some of them there's a funny little line where sometimes a cidery will also have a beer, and I'm like,
Right.
Does it really?
You gotta call ahead and find out about it. Yeah, there's Firkenstein, and we haven't had any of the Firkenstein ones. Bad Apple backstage. I gotta get rid of Bad Apple because I mean they don't exist anymore. They're well, okay. I gotta retire certain ones of these.
You can't delete them.
No,
Jeez.
you're right. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Straight through.
Oh, that was the one. Tanner and Company.
Oh, so yeah, because we go to these places when they're really new. When we went to Tanner Company, actually, I don't know even if they changed. It was Buddy's Garage. Same with Tusket or Topside.
Yeah.
So we just walked up and we're like, "Is this it?" And so we walk in, and it's literally in their garage.
But now Tanner Co has a tap house in
They
the city.
They do have a tap room,
Maybe,
but it is still out of his garage.
Oh, is it okay?
Well,
So he still has the garage location, but he has moved up. We've had him on the show. That was such a great show. And we talked to him because he's really into a lot of Germanic style things, but he's also using the yeast that has been, I want to say, found out in Cape Breton. I think was it Big Spruce? It was Big Spruce or Breton, but one of them.
Big Spruce did that. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna scrape some yeast off a tree," and they did. Like made a beer, and that is. Did you try any of that? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funky. I think is the only word that I can.
It's pretty good.
That.
Well, the other thing that I tried recently, Ian wasn't here that night, was there is a new IPA style, and I mean new. 2019 is when they invented this style, and it is called a Brut IPA.
Oh yes, right.
That's just mixed with like a champagne.
It's like
isn't it?
yeah, it's like much more bubbly.
Like a bubbly. It's light.
Didn't Patty's brew a brews?
Did they? Ooh, I missed that. We happened to come across two Brut IPAs, one from Tanner and Company and one from Garrison, and I tried those one night. And I went, "This okay? I can get into this. This is pretty cool." Where it's not. I thought, is this just going to be a champagne style beer? But no, it was an IPA brewed kind of in the same way that you would turn a champagne into a Brut champagne.
Yeah.
I forget all the science behind it, but there's a lot of words.
Oh, there's a lot of science.
That's next episode.
This one's growing on me. The Burnside one. It's getting smoother and easier to drink, but less fruit flavor blast than even the Tusket Falls, and I thought the Tusket Falls was falling a bit short. And I don't.
This is perfect. This is what I would like for, because the more, see, the flavor that I think you're talking about, that I think you're looking for, that flavor, that fullness gives me terrible heartburn.
Okay.
Terrible
But
heartburn.
let me read this again, one more time off the website. Here's Burnside Brewing. This is the one that we've just tried. Bursting with juicy tropical hop character and minimal bitterness.
Well,
And I'm like,
minimal bitterness, but I don't think it's bursting with hop. I don't think it's bursting.
She ain't bursting.
No. The glass contains it well.
Nothing burst around here.
Can you imagine you pour it in?
It does have a lot of hops though. Like,
yeah, I do get
the first, it's very strong off the top, and it is like a little bit, like as I said, it's like sharp and full. It's not full. It's not a full bodied.
No, it's light bodied.
It's a light bodied, really, because it's like you drink it, and then it's super flavor, and then it's nothing. So it's not like, it doesn't linger in your mouth. It's just
not a lot of laces on the glass there.
No, there's like no laces.
Nothing's lingering.
No.
So you know that it's not very like thick.
It's
right?
not. But also, like we've been saying, not boozy. Does not taste boozy.
Oh no, it's
well, for 6.7.
Yeah, to give a guess, if you said what's the percentage of this one you just had, I would say, I don't know, 5.2.
Right.
Maybe I would say like I would say 6 is probably like a 6 maybe, but it is 6.7. Like no, definitely.
But
not.
I want that bursting with tropical character. If you're telling me, especially on hazies, this is where I feel like you can get away with more of a tropical character. You want to say that it's bursting with fruit, burst it with fruit. Don't just have it as kind of a a funny little tag end at the late part.
That was a sales by the marketing team, I think.
If I could think of one beer that would fit that description, that is bursting with tropical flavor, it's Galaxy.
I was about to say. Now
By
that's a
Galaxy.
double. That's a double IPA.
By Garrison.
Oh, Juicy. Well, Juicy is just,
Yeah.
I don't know. Juicy is like,
Juicy's very strong. I prefer it a little juicy, actually. The little juicy and the juicy sort of have the same flavor, but one comes in at 6% and the other is 8%. So
we've had so many big juicies that the little juicy, to me, placebo effect does the same thing.
Mhm.
I know it's less percent, but I just get.
See, this is why you got to try lots of different little ones. So we try a lager one week, a stout the next week, and then a chocolate porter one week, and an Irish red. We go all over the place, and we try to mix it up just enough that we don't get the heartburn.
Excellent idea. And I've been coming along a lot more to different beers, like the stouts and the porters.
Yes.
And I can't get behind Belgian anythings. I can't do it.
That's a bison, those
that
things.
wheaty flavor that at the end.
Yeah.
I don't like it whatsoever. But yeah, like coming around with some sours and stuff like that. But
the weedy flavor, we often call it sometimes. There's a bit of like a biscuit flavor, like you're kind of having a dough ball.
Yeah,
that's
a
right.
good way to put it. Doughy.
And I like that sometimes, especially in a wheat beer. I don't mind that so much. What happens sometimes, especially in a Hefeweizen, is they say, "Oh, the traditional flavors," and then you look up what a traditional flavor of Hefeweizen is, and it says banana and cloves.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, right. We're like, no, thank you.
That's not beer in my mind.
I've been heard that
What?
before.
You went to the home for the criminal insane and just got him to choose two words that might be flavors. Like, I don't know, banana and cloves. Oh, make a beer based on that. Be right back.
Don't go to the grocery store for 4 weeks and then brew with whatever you have left.
There's a number of beers that I categorically have made my favorites, and Sober Island, for example, has my favorite blonde ale right now.
Really?
Because it's just such a smooth, the Marigold Blonde. If you see it, and it's in most of the LCs, which is great. They're still selling it in a lot of places.
One of their flagships, then, is it?
Yeah, one of their 4. I need to get down there and try to see what else they're doing. Honestly, their Beachstone Bitter is just as good. The Sons of Hector. No, wait, that's the brown from Breton. Who did an English bitter that I really love? The Beachstone Bitter is a really fantastic bitter.
Hellbait
That's a decent bitter.
They do, yeah, in Liverpool. Hellbait does a good bitter.
The English ale?
Yeah.
It was
It's
all
got
right.
a generic.
Out of Hellbay, my favorite that I tell everybody to try is the dark cream ale. I think that is one of the most fantastically interesting beers I've ever had. It's so cool.
Huh. I've never had that one.
And then for some reason, the Backstage Brewing was the Headliner IPA is one of my favorite IPAs.
That beer is delicious.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The
a lot of really good beers.
the Horton Ridge Malt House. Bar Dog Stout
Yes,
that's
it's
a great
delicious.
stout.
is
Oh,
one
you
of the best stouts going. It is a
And I have a Bar Dog Stout shirt, one of the original OG shirts that they
Ooh.
in their
Can
first
I-
line is.
Can I tell you? So I was told about that beer from some youth working at a at a winery one day. He said, "You got to try the best stout in the province," and I went, "Son, come on." And I hated the fact that he was right, but he was right, and it was one of the best stouts in the province. But we kept exploring, and we came across out of Candid, I think, in Antigonish, they got one called the Big Papa Stout, based on I think it was some sort of Biggie Smalls reference or or something like that. The Big Papa Stout out of Candid, it is on par with the Bar Dog Stout. It is up there with one of the best stouts in the province. It's so good. Going back down to Great Roads, nay Old Biddies, their Irish Red, the Patrick O'Neill, is still my pick, the best Irish Red in the province.
Absolutely. I have to
It's
agree. Yeah.
so good.
Delicious.
Yeah, another hidden gem for if you like Irish Red is Hilltop Hops in Brooklyn, they do a great red as well. And we don't go there often enough.
Not often enough, but my gosh, it's a tiny little spot, and it's awesome. The people who run it are fabulous.
I've got my glass. I've got my pint glass from Hilltop because I go down to Windsor an awful lot. And the last 3 times I've been in this spring, they had a bock. And not many people are making a bock in this province, but they had a bock on it. And I said, how do I get this? I said, oh, we'll have some cans later, but we sell out really fast. I'm like, make more, you crazy people. So I'm hoping to get some of their bock in, because I've also got a bock from Lund's Mill that I want to compare with something. But the trick is always in comparing these odd, individual, weird things that no one else is making. And
But shameless plug for Wolfville Crokinole.
Oh, heck yes. We have to talk about Wolfville Crokinole. And now, question.
Yes.
Is there a third word? Wolfville Crokinole Society, Club?
Club is on the joint stocks form, but, not on our logo. It would have fit.
I looked at the logo and I said, what am I looking up here? Is it the Wolfville Crokinole? Okay. Club.
But we have a one sold out tournament that we're doing at Lund's Mill next weekend, I guess. No, two weekends from now.
Wait. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday?
This is a plug for Lund's Mill and not necessarily.
Exactly, for Lund's Mill, yeah. But yeah, it was like announced on a Friday, 16 people, sold out by Sunday.
How do you feel about the Purple Grain IPA?
It's amazing.
That's the top 5.
Top 5 for sure. It's probably one of my top 3 beers, to be very honest. Yeah,
I don't like it, but it seems like a very good IPA. But they also do the Caber Toss Stout, which is I love a lot of Lund's Mill. My favorite thing about Lund's Mill is I go see them. They come to the Wolfville Farmers Market, and oftentimes people, you'll show up with your flagship. Here's our 5 beers. Here's our this and that, and they come out with 20 cans.
Oh yeah.
We made some beer. Behold.
They're amazing. They're amazing people. It's an amazing venue. Their beer is fabulous.
I hope to get out to that. Okay.
Consistent. We didn't talk about consistent, but that's so important.
For your flagships.
For your flagships to be consistent.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Big time.
Okay. I have finished the Burnside, and I have a little schneef of the Tusket Falls Next Phase. I feel like I'm going to enjoy this more because it's got more of the fruit, the citrus and the hazy.
I enjoyed the Sea Glass more personally. I would give the Sea Glass, I would say an 8.5 out of 10. I think 8.5 out of 10 for me. It's a solid beer. It's something that I'd have several of, and I think it would be delicious. Whereas the Next Phase is just a little, for me, it's a little too hazy to have multiples of. It's delicious to have one of them, but if I'm thinking about having another one, I don't know if I could handle one more because it's just very full-bodied, I guess.
I just had a mouthful, and you are right. It is almost cloying in its in its fruit filled. But for the Burnside one, where it says it advertises itself as a Northeast IPA, would you give that? I feel like that's in brackets. P.S. We actually mean a New England IPA, but we're just a little bit more northeast of them. If you said if I said that was a New England IPA and you drank it, would you say, oh yeah, or would you say, nah, not even close?
I would say yes.
I'd say it's close.
Yeah.
It's
not quite as hazy.
It maybe lacks the fruitiness of what I would define a New England as, but but it's body and sort of clarity of the coast.
Yeah, it's close.
It's an East Coast IPA though.
That's right.
For
sure.
That's
okay.
East Coast. Absolutely.
I think you're right. I got to give it good marks, despite the fact that I didn't like it. It's because it's not my style. But I try to turn.
Yeah, what they were aiming for, they got it.
I try to turn my flavor profile into, what would someone who likes this kind of thing think? And they're like, yeah, okay, it doesn't have that stuff that I like, so yeah, they'd love that, and that's all good. So I think you're right with a mid 8.
Yeah.
To medium 8, like an 8.6 maybe for that. Despite the fact I don't care for it, but they make a great IPA.
Yes,
it's the way it should be built. I guess.
It was a solid brew for me. Yeah. I'm going to forego the decimals again and give it an 8. But compare, I gave the other one a 7.
We'll get you converted. You'll get into it. You'll get into it.
I did enjoy the Sea Glass a little more than that.
What do you put in your Untapped? Is it all 3s and 4s?
3.5.
I hold mine up. I don't do Untapped myself, so yeah, that's all.
Because it's homework, right? It's homework.
That's right, exactly. That's right.
If it's middle of the road, it was like, it's not amazing, but I don't dislike it, then it's like a 3.75. If I drink it and I was like, it wasn't bad, but I'm not gonna have another one, it's like 3.25 or 3.5. And if I like it, it's like 3.75 or like 4 and above. And there's only like 5, 3, 4 beers that I'd rank a 5 out of 5 ever. So
it's like Google, anything under 4 stars just won't cut it. It's either 5 or it's nothing.
And one of my favorite beers is 902 from the church. Like it's
a good beer.
really good. And the Vice Principal from Schoolhouse, I can drink that and have all day. Yeah. And all night.
I would say Vice Principal is my number one go-to.
Yeah,
I like the 2 from church, and I really like Frig Off from 9 Lux.
Yeah, it's a little strong for me.
And again, these are all IPAs, of course.
And then, of course,
true.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you what we thought of the Vice Principal?
Yes.
This was years ago. This was one of our IPA nights because we brought it into the IPA night. I gave it a solid 8. So that's your
good.
4 out of 5. And let's see, Kier is our IPA aficionado. He loves IPAs. He gave it a 7.
Oh, really?
And Ananda gave it an 8. So it's I guess it's your 4 out of 5 and Untapped.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What was your other favorite? It was
902 from
902. We did try I'm sure we tried the 902 because that was the night that we were talking with Steve was the brewer at church. We had him on the show and we were talking about it, and he said, could we drink the 902 East Coast IPA? And it was Ian and I, and we both went, okay. I seem to recall we were less than enthusiastic, but we drank it, and I think we were polite. I don't remember what we thought of that one at all. That was a while ago. When was that? That was.
Well, fun fact, it first came out
about a year ago.
A series of beers for the hip, right?
Well, it was a Saint series. Yeah.
It was a Saint series, Saint this, Saint that, and it was for the hip members. So like Saint Robert, Saint Gordon,
Saint Paul, and all the.
But you got to have 2 Saint Gordons, don't you?
So they did a double IPA for that one. They had Gordon.
Well done.
But this Saint Robert. So Saint Robert was the 5. I drank it and I was like, this is 5 right here and right now. And I drank a lot more. They ended up coming out with it again and renamed it 902. So I was just so happy when they came back out with it because good beers are really, really good beers. They're very difficult to find.
And good consistent beers,
Consistent is
a lot of
really
breweries
important.
come out with one-offs that are fabulous, but then they move on to something else.
It's true.
There's several breweries we could list that we won't, but that we find, if you try a beer now, then you try the same beer, even from the liquor store, in 2 weeks, it'll be totally different.
Yeah.
And so, you can't rely on that.
That has happened.
Consistency.
Even the aging in the can occurs,
for sure. There should be a little bit of variance there, but to be a big variance in it that it changes the whole character of the beer, that's a bit of an issue. But anyway, we never had any problem with that with 902 or of course Schoolhouse has got their beers down. They're professionals for sure. So
well, they're making larger batches as well, which was
well, that's right. And they've had a few years to perfect the recipe and they're really good at right now, so it's for them it's more of a science than an art now because they just, like I said, it's mass produced and stores, and not mass produced, but
produced for the liquor stores. Well, thank God.
The thing that we enjoyed because about talking to the really mass produced ones, especially Keats, for example, let's pick on them. They've started doing this small batch
Yeah.
You know, the
That's-
craft brew style where they do a Lunenburg cocoa, you know, chocolate stout thing. And we're like, okay, this actually tastes good. What are you guys doing different? I said, well, it's small batch, so we don't need to squeeze as many chemicals and preservatives into maintaining the flavor for as long. Also, hopefully, and we talked to all the brewers about this, maybe the palate of your average Nova Scotian is changing to no longer say, wait a minute, this doesn't taste like sour ass. Why isn't this, you know, where's my Oland flavor? Where's my Molson Canadian flavor? And you're like, oh, sorry about that. We've started making good beer, actually. So, and that's happened a few times to us where we sort of say, oh, okay, so, and we talk about these moments in life where when you're a kid, 19, 20, so have beer. Yes, beer. Beer is what I drink. Yum. What is this? Whatever. Drink. Budweiser. Fine. I'll drink it. Michelob Light. Yes, this is what I drink. Fine. And then someone finally says, hey, what if we tried one of these small batch craft brew things and it tasted like good?
Yeah.
You're like, oh. And there's this ting, this beautiful moment where you're like, oh, it doesn't have to taste like crap. Huh. And it's the whole purpose, well, not the whole purpose, but the larger purpose of trying to do this is say, hey, everyone should be drinking more localized craft beer because one, it tastes better. Two, there's more interesting, like every single brewery has a few different divergent flavors. Hey, try this one. It's a bit darker. This one's a bit maltier. This one's a bit hoppier. And so it's got a taste for everybody, and it's going to be better than what if everybody, malt favorite, hop favorite, bitter favorite, if they're all just drinking Keats,
Yeah.
go
There's no
down the road, get a flight, and learn what you really love about, because some people drink Keats as, I like it because it tastes like this. And you think, huh.
And I guess a lot of what people don't realize, you know, if you're a Coors drinker, a Peace drinker, or whatever, is that, you know, not only with the ingredients and stuff, but the watersheds of particular places matter too. You know, like different areas, different waters, you know, have different sort of geological compounds of where they come from. If it's, you know,
That was a huge part of the conversation when we talked to Steve at church, was water tables. We learned,
Right.
oh my God, we got so scientific that night. It was outstanding.
You know, and you can even take it a step further if your hops and your malt are grown in that same field where that water table is, then you know that affects those flavors. I mean, yeah, I won't bore everybody with the details of that, but yeah,
It's chemistry. It's enjoying the fruits of the labors of chemistry.
Yep.
And you can say things like, yeah, I like that one. Yeah, that particular chemistry, that was good. Do that again. And dude's sitting there with 9 Bunsen burners and test tubes going, I mean, I well, quote unquote, cook for my family. And when they like a meal, they say, that was great, do that again. I'm like, not entirely sure that I could. I appreciate the compliments, but I am making stuff up. And it's never going to be the same way twice. Oh God, it's super late. It has been an absolute pleasure having you guys on here. Wolfville Crokinole Club. You got to head out to Lund's Mill, not this Saturday,
But the next Saturday. Not
April-
Easter, but the next one. April 6th.
April the 60 hole. April the 6th is going to be happening out in Lund's Mill in Lawrencetown, Nova Scotia, and you can go in and say hi to Rob and Candace. They will, chances are, be wearing craft brew stuff on clothing of one nature or another. And you can find out a little bit more about their wonderful growler collection, which certainly impressed the hell out of me. But we're here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. live at the YouTube page, youtube.com/@drinknsdry. Or you can find our podcast any podcasty places. It's Drink Nova Scotia Dry and a lot of the places like that. Or if you want to get really specific, you can visit our website at drinkns.unsupervised.beer, if I got that one right. And back next week, And I think we'll have Ian with us and hopefully some more guests in the future. But I want to thank Candace and Rob for being here tonight. Thank you guys so much. Just having someone
Thank you.
to talk to.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you so much, Rob. This is a lot of fun.
An
We love drinking beer.
An
We love
excuse to
chatting.
drink IPAs is where it all comes down to. But yeah, thanks for being here. And